And I'm Gregory, BUO2, and we're standing on the lawn of Boston University's College of Communication, or COM for short. COM is home to programs in journalism, film and television, advertising, mass communication, and public relations.
Although it's renowned for its community of scholars and terrific professors, one of the main draws of Boston University is that it's located in the heart of Boston. Today we'll take you on a tour headed east through downtown Boston, ending at the Bunker Hill Monument.
Our first stop is Kenmore Square, just a few blocks east of here, so let's get walking.
Once home to a diverse scene of rundown pubs and dilapidated record stores, Kenmore Square has undergone a major revival over the last decade or so, and now effectively marks the east end of Boston University's campus. Here you'll find Barnes & Noble at BU, which is not only the university's official bookstore, but also a great place for all your decorating needs and to load up on official BU gear. The square is also home to an ever-expanding variety of eateries, ranging from small, quick takeout joints to upscale cocktail lounges. It is also just one long ball away from our next stop, Boston's historic Fenway Park.
Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions.
Opened in 1912, Fenway Park, home of the Boston Red Sox, is the oldest professional sports venue in the U.S. It has recently been categorized as a historic landmark, so even in the unlikely event that the Sox were to move, Fenway Park is here to stay. In 2004, the Red Sox won the World Series, breaking the infamous 86-year curse of the Bambino. They repeated the feat in 2007.
Boston's ritziest shopping and some of its finest dining can be found up and down famous Newbury Street. One of the main east-west thoroughfares spanning the area known as Back Bay, it's hard to believe that this was once a part of Boston Harbor. The entire area was refilled during a reclamation project in the mid-1800s and has grown into one of Boston's most fashionable areas. Here, among swanky brownstone residences, you'll also find the high-end fashion elite such as Armani and more affordable stores like Gap. However, as is the case with most of Boston, the area defies simple characterization, as it is also home of some of the hub's quirkier independent stores and Boston standbys like Newbury Comics and Trident Books.
Once the intellectual heart of the city, and originally home to MIT, Harvard Medical School, the Museum of Fine Arts, and even Boston University, Copley Square remains a vibrant center of Boston culture. It's now home to Boston's largest building, the modernist blue glass John Hancock Tower, as well as the Renaissance-inspired Boston Public Library and the beautiful Gothic Revival Old South Church. It's also here in Copley Square that you'll find the finish line of the Boston Marathon. Dating to 1897 and drawing well over 20,000 participants every year, it's the world's oldest annual marathon and probably the most important race of its kind.
We're now at the Public Garden, America's oldest public botanical garden. Founded in 1837 by philanthropist Horace Green, the garden is a great place to come to relax, read a book, take a walk, or get some sun. It's also home to Boston's most famous couple, Swan's Romeo and Juliet, and the analogous Swan boats, a Boston favorite for young and old.
And the Lexington Minutemen of Lexington, Massachusetts.
So we've arrived on the Boston Common. Dating to 1634, it's one of the oldest public parks in America. And for nearly 400 years, it's been a favorite place for relaxation, recreation, and all sorts of public ceremonies.
From Salem, Massachusetts.
Completed in 1797 in the Federal style, on a design by Boston architect Charles Bulfinch, the Statehouse is the seat of government for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. That distinctive dome was originally covered in bronze, crafted by Revolutionary War hero and Boston metalsmith Paul Revere. The bronze was later replaced in 1874 by gold leaf. That same dome also served as a constant reminder of Matt Damon's boundless political ambitions in the 2006 film The Departed.
Just over Beacon Hill from the Statehouse is one of the most visited tourist sites in all of America, which is also known as the Cradle of Liberty. Boston's Faneuil Hall was once the site of speeches encouraging the Revolution by Bostonians such as Brewer, Patriot, and Founding Father Samuel Adams. Nowadays, the surrounding area is home to an almost endless variety of shops, eateries, and nightlife spots. We've now reached the waterfront and Boston Harbor, the easternmost edge of Boston. Boston Harbor was an important port in American history and was also the site of the Boston Tea Party in 1773. Here you'll find restaurants serving delicious Boston seafood, as well as cultural attractions such as the New England Aquarium and the Boston Harbor Walk.
Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere.
Behind me here is the house of Boston patriot Paul Revere. Although there's been much historical debate over the last few decades about the accuracy and the reality of his famous midnight ride, as immortalized in the Longfellow poem, Paul Revere's place in American mythology is secure. The house has stood since the 1680s and represents one of the oldest residences still standing in Boston. In the early 20th century, it was repurchased by his great-grandson and then converted into a museum, which it still is today.
When the moon hits your eye.
We're now in Boston's North End. Continuously inhabited since the 1630s, it's the city's oldest neighborhood. It was once an important center for both Jewish and Irish immigrants, though nowadays it's probably most famous for its Italian population. It has over 100 eateries in less than a third of a square mile, including the famous Mike's Pastries behind me here. Let's go in and try something. So I chose the famous chocolate chip cannoli. Let's give it a try. That's delicious.
Final seconds. Pierce puts it up for the win. Knocks it down. Celtics win.
Behind me is the TD Garden, home of the Boston Celtics, the Boston Bruins, and Boston's North Station. The current building replaced the legendary Boston Garden, which stood just 9 inches south of here. Celtics are the winningest franchise in NBA history, with a league-leading 17 titles. The Bruins have 5 titles of their own. It's also here you can come every year to cheer on your BU Terriers in the annual Beanpot Tournament. So we've reached our last stop, the Bunker Hill Monument here in Charlestown. The 221-foot granite obelisk actually stands here on Breed's Hill.
The monument, one of the first in America, was built between 1827 and 1843 to commemorate the misnamed Battle of Bunker Hill, which was fought here on June 17, 1775, and was one of the first major conflicts between British and Patriot forces in the Revolutionary War.
Now obviously we couldn't fit all of Boston in this brief tour, so take a look at what else the city has to offer.